Hey, what's up, guys? All right, so this is the first video in the series that I said I would start. The whole point of this is, like I said in one of my Instagram videos, I had shared that I'd started a steak company in 48 hours, got over a dozen sales, and that piece of content was something that people shared and liked, and messaged me privately more than anything I've ever shared before. So I have been thinking for the last few weeks, like, what can I share with you guys that will show you how to sell products online and show my process for doing that from A to Z. So this is a new series. I don't really know what the format's going to be, but basically what I do know is I'm going to show you day by day what I do and how I do it. And I have a new product here that someone asked me to start selling. And my goal is to be very transparent in showing you how I'm going to sell that product and the process of building advertising campaigns from A to Z to make sales. And while I'm going to be using a specific product, what I'm trying to focus on is showing you the process so that you can replace my product for your product or whatever idea that you want to have to sell and promote. So that's really kind of like the ultimate goal for this. And today, I wrote out like a few notes on Google Docs that I want to just talk through and share to kind of like show the beginning stages of this and kind of introduce you to this project that I'm going to be working on. And it might be like a 30-day, 60-day, it might be longer product. It might work, it might not work. I really don't know because it's a new procedure, it's a new service, and they wanted help to see it. So the good thing is there's going to be I think it's going to be a challenge and there's going to be a lot of problems. And I'm going to have to like, I call it iterating the ads, right? Like the first ad is probably not going to work and that's totally okay. But I want you to see that, right? And then I want to show you how I take something that's not working and make it work, right? So that, again, that's the whole point is to be as transparent as possible in selling something that's pretty difficult to sell. But if you sell something that's pretty easy to sell, again, you can just replace your product with this product, use the same process, and I think you could get sales pretty quickly. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see how this goes. My only ask is like, this is the first time I'm doing this, right? So I have my way of doing things. I'm going to try my best to share it in a simple, like easy to understand way. But if you have questions or you want to know something, ask them in the comments, message me privately. It doesn't really matter how you do it, but if you let me know, then I can start to address the questions, the comments, or whatever it is in either future videos, or I'll address them at some point or somehow. So without that being said, let me share with you kind of this project and the process of promoting this project. So let me share my screen. And I'm gonna keep this video pretty short to begin with because I want this to be like super simple. And am I sharing the right screen? Hold on. Why is there no green thing? Sorry, guys. All right, it should be good. All right, here we go. So before we get into this, quick background. So Friday, this literal Friday, this past Friday, a couple days ago, someone came up to me and they said, hey, listen, I need help. This is a new procedure. It just started getting covered by insurance. We don't know if it will sell well or like if we can advertise it. But if we can, it would be a huge opportunity for the practice and other practices in the area. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's try it out. This guy was a friend of mine and I'm curious to see if I could sell it too. So don't get caught up on the product. I want you guys to focus on the process. And again, just think about replacing my product for your product. But this is it. And again, I will teach you guys what this is, but ultimately there are people who have arthritis in their knees. It is a debilitating pain. Sometimes they can't even work because the pain is so bad. They can't walk. It ruins their quality of life. That's ultimately the problem, right? So right now, what people are doing is sometimes they just handle it on their own. They just fight through the pain. Sometimes they go to physical therapy. Sometimes they go get like cortisone shots, like steroid shots. And sometimes they do a full-on knee replacement. There's this spectrum of what they do. But that's the product, and I'm going to show you how I would sell this product. And you're going to see me try to sell it over the next, let's call it 30 days. So day one was kind of like an introduction to the project. Really, I don't know anything about this stuff, right? So for me, I needed to go spend some time. I mean, you can see like these are the tabs that I had before. Like, what is a knee embolization? What does it entail? When do you need it? At what point do you need it? And like, how popular is knee arthritis? So, again, to keep this video very simple and short, if you want to see like more detail, just ask it in the comments. But like the first thing I did is I went on Google Trends because I wanted to see how popular is this. So what would I would do was I would go into Google Trends, which is essentially a tool to show you, here, maybe I can make this a little bigger. Yeah. So Google Trends is essentially a tool that shows you how to, or how much people are searching for something. So for example, if I type in knee embolization, I mean, let me just, here, you know what, I'll do it for you guys to show you a quick example, and then I want you guys to be like, I want this to be interactive. Like, I don't want to just show you everything. Take the time to research this, right? So that will help you kind of really understand how to use these tools, and they're pretty cool tools too, right? So if I say I mean, you know what, I'll just use some generic examples that are like here. There's nothing, sometimes they have, oh, there's trending, okay. So like trending now, for example, I don't know what's going on in the Supreme Court, but oh, let's pick anything. Like Croatia versus Italy. This is the Euro Cup is going on. Can I Google search this? All right, so Croatia versus Italy. So like yesterday they had a game, so you can see like yesterday the search volume went up so much because people were searching to watch that game, right? If I do knee pain as a search term, I'm going to be able to see like what that looks like. This is over 7 days. Typically I extend the time so I can see like, is it trending up? Or, oh, that's crazy, right? It's trending up or is it trending down? So I know knee pain is a problem that from 2004 up until 2024 has been increasing. It's a growing problem. That's a good sign because the product that I'm selling is for knee pain. So if knee pain is a growing market, that's like a green flag. If this was going down the opposite way, then I'd be like, this might not be the best product to sell, right? Because the demand and the volume of that market is going down. So, okay, that's check number one, right? So maybe I might want to compare this to arthritis as a search term. What's going on with arthritis? Like, okay, so here's another one, right? So I can see this is knee pain is going up. Arthritis kind of went down a little bit, but generally speaking, if we look at like from here to here, which is still like 14 years, it's another problem that's increasing. This is like another good sign for me, right? And I also know that arthritis is a more commonly searched problem than knee pain, right? So maybe I might add like knee arthritis, which before I even start this, like I know it's going to be lower than arthritis because it's a more specific term, but is it going to be above knee pain or is it going to be below knee pain? Let's find out. Like, I don't actually know. That's much lower. Okay. So, arthritis. So again, I'm doing this to like understand like what the problem is. So like arthritis and this is cool about Google Trends. Like this is not supposed to be about Google Trends, but I'm just showing you how I would use this. So like if I go down to arthritis, I can go see like what are people searching for related, so related queries, right? What are people searching for related to it? I just know that these are like related to these first two are related to like a doctor's office. These are like codes, right? I don't know what they're codes for, but I know they're codes. This is some person with arthritis trying to understand, do they have arthritis? So that's like interesting, right? This is people looking for solutions. Like they have arthritis and they're looking for CBD oil, gloves for arthritis. These are all solutions for arthritis. So like I know when people search arthritis, they're looking for solutions. That's interesting, right? If I just go to knee arthritis, knee exercise, this is people looking for solutions. People looking for a knee brace, a specific solution, right? So I can just, again, I don't want to go too deep into the details, but the point is The point is this. I'm looking at Google Trends to get an idea for search volume and demand and trends for this product. Is this something that's going in the right direction or the wrong direction? That's ultimately what I'm asking myself. And if I start to compare it to search terms that are similar, like, or more specific, where does it relate and what are people saying? That's ultimately what I'm looking for. Google Ads, I'm not going to get into the details because I don't want to focus on the details because this is kind of like a subset of this. But when I go into Google Ads, maybe in another video, I'll show this. When I start actually advertising, Google Ads lets me, or you, anyone who has a Google Ads account, see how many people specifically, like if I go back to these and I search arthritis in Google Ads, knee pain and knee arthritis, I might realize that like 100,000 people are searching for arthritis every single month. Maybe it's 1 million people. It actually might be a lot more than 100,000. But then like knee pain might be 100,000 and knee arthritis might only be like 5,000. So I know from that information how big my market is. And that's ultimately, again, what I'm trying to focus on in this first part. Like someone came to me with the opportunity. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Let me see if this is really worth pursuing or not. And based off the data that I found originally, I'm like, okay, like this is moving in the right direction. It's clearly a painful problem. And a lot of people are, so like the pain is high and the size of the market is big. So those are like green flags in my mind. And that's kind of day one. This probably took like less than an hour. Like, let's just say like 1 to 2 hours, right? That's how long it took for me to do this. And that was Friday. The weekend came, got busy with some other stuff. Yesterday was kind of like day 2, which was really more intense. And then like today is day 3, which I'm about to go into. And I'll share day 3 tomorrow. So everything will kind of like be like a day behind, but I want to do it and then show you rather than like, I want to do it and then show you. That it'll make more sense. It'll be easier for me to make these videos too. So anyway, day 2, okay, there's a lot here, but again, I want you to focus on the most important thing, which is again, I don't know anything about this. I don't know who has this problem. I don't know. There's a lot that I don't know. So the first part of this is research. And the thing that I want to understand better than anything else is who is the audience and what are their pain points, right? If you watch the steak video, the reason why the steak video was so easy for me, or the steak business was so easy for me to like spin up, was because I was the audience and I had the pain points. Yeah, I could do research, but honestly, because I was so deep into the market, I didn't really have to do that much research because I knew who the audience was and what the pain points were. In this scenario, I don't really know who the audience is, and I don't really know what the pain points are. So I have to do research. So one of my favorite tools, excuse me, one of my favorite tools to use is Reddit, right? So there's really 2 things that I'm looking for. Give me 1 sec. I'm dying here. There are really 2 things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for psychographics, which is kind of like the mindset of the consumer, and I'm looking for demographics, which is like male, female, age. That's as, location. Location is not really as important right now, but for this, the part that's really important is age. So like, I found out that the people that are suffering from arthritis are usually in like the 50 to 90. I mean, most people don't live to 90, but like 50 to 90 is my age group range, right? And the psychographics are, and I'll show my research in a second, but like what people are saying, their mindset, like people, I'll go into that in a second. Let me go through this quickly and then we'll go back. So the other thing I'm doing is I'm writing down any questions I have, just like gaps in understanding. I'm starting to identify and focus on problems. Okay, so like my style when it comes to selling something is I try to be very specific on the problem before I get to the solution, right? So if I know that there's a problem and right, then I know there's something that needs to be solved. My solution is the answer. There's this gap in between, and my advertisement is the one that connects or closes the gap between problem and solution. That's ultimately like my typical strategy for running advertisements, right? Building out the customer journey. I will show you a picture of this so you better understand it. It's easier to do it visually. Quotes, I'll show you this. But basically, using a consumer's, I'm going to show you. This is easier to show. I mean, you guys have this, and you see it right here, so I'm not going to spend too much time going through it. But what else is important? Okay, let's dive into it and I'll show you. But these are kind of like, this is kind of like how I spent my day. And this took a lot of time. This took like, I don't know, this took about like 6 to 8 hours. I really spent like pretty much all day doing this. And this is kind of like deep work. It helps really well if you just, the more you read and the more information you take about these markets, the more ideas you're gonna have. Sometimes, and what I'll do is I'll literally put like a timer on my watch and I'll just mark 20 minutes. And every 20 minutes, I'll like go really deep. If I feel good, I'll do another 20 minutes, but I always take a break after 40 minutes. I'll go get like a coffee or just go take a walk outside just to like let my mind kind of like digest what I'm learning. But initial ideas. So let me just make sure there's nothing private here. I probably should have done this first. Let me, 1 second. I think this is okay though. Okay, this is fine. It's okay, whatever. Like I said, transparency without problem. So again, this was like the first thing that happened. Knee pain. This is what I actually searched. So I like compared all of these because pain was what I was told, but I had to like narrow down on one of them. And I realized that arthritis and knee arthritis specifically was like the thing to focus on. Then I had to look at the demographics. What I found reading, so like I'm going to Reddit right away, and I want to just know like who am I talking to? Usually the patients are 50 to 90. Sometimes it's the son or the daughter that is like they're observing their parents struggling, so they're the ones kind of being like the caretaker, especially if they're older. I will come back to this in a second because I didn't do this in order. This is kind of like the way I did it was like I started with like this one, right? So what are people saying on Reddit? When I searched like knee embolization Reddit, this is literally what people said, right? It's for those who try the usual treatments without adequate relief. People are saying this is like direct quotes from Reddit. I've tried cortisone, but I don't like how they make me feel. I've also done PT and all of that. Finding an ortho, find an ortho to talk you through your solution. So I pulled that out because that's like a good call to action, right? Something I can tell people to do. Total knee replacement is that's what it is. It seems like from all the comments that I read, they expect it, but they're trying to push it back as much as they possibly can. So this is a good scenario. So let me take a second to show you something because this is this part I want you to focus on for a second. This is like the patient journey. So in the beginning, it didn't look like this. Like I had to like kind of map out like what does it look like? Like someone doesn't just go from zero pain to like they're dying like that. There's a process that kind of goes through, and this was that process. So first is like the pain is like relatively mild. Then they need to like find a doctor. Sometimes it's orthopedic specialist, sometimes it's knee specialist. So then they go to PT. Then they get like steroid shots or painkillers, and then they might get a total knee replacement. That's kind of like the typical journey that this goes on. And I wanted to map it out because right now I need to focus on like where my product is going to stand. And I know it's somewhere between here and here, but really it's somewhere over here. They've probably already taken painkillers and steroids, and they don't really want to take, again, like this is the research right here. I take them, but I don't like how it makes me feel, right? Here's another one. This is someone literally saying this. I don't want to have to take painkillers for the rest of my life. So they might be doing this, right? They might be doing this, but they don't like it, right? And they're looking for something different and they're trying to avoid this. So my solution lives in that gap, right? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for gaps, and my job, again, is to close the gap with a solution, which is this embolization. I know this is gonna get like, this is like super technical, so I'm gonna try to keep this as simple as possible. But ultimately, what I'm doing is I'm going through Reddit, I'm looking at what people are saying, I'm gathering research. If there's things that I don't understand, I am Googling what is this? What is that? Right? If I still can't figure it out, I just leave it as like a question, like I have these questions, right? Like these are some of the questions that I have. But after about 6 to 8 hours of this, I have this idea of like what's going on in the market, what they need, and where I can fit to better serve that market. So the overarching message that I kind of came up with was, hey, do you have this terrible knee arthritis and have been desperately, this is not worded properly, but this is just, again, unformulated ideas, right? You've been looking for a solution without getting a total knee replacement, right? Here's this new treatment that's designed for people who have tried all the solutions, right? Who have tried all the usual treatments without adequate relief. I literally, again, I'm just pulling exactly what they said, right? I'm not trying to make something new. I'm giving people what they already want. And that's why I kind of made this message, right? So that's the overarching message. What I'm doing with that is I'm kind of like structuring it. Again, I'm not making the ad right now, but I'm kind of structuring it in my mind for what I want the ad to look like. So we'll get into this in a little bit deeper in probably another video. But the whole concept is I want to first grab their attention and like call out their problem, right? Because again, they have a problem and they don't know what the solution is yet. So I want my job, if that's the mindset, is to highlight the problem. Okay. So I want to highlight the problem. It sounds bad, but this is what gets people to pay attention, right? When you make the problem sound bad and create that gap, right? It opens the opportunity for you to provide the solution. So I'm calling out the problems, calling out the issues with those problems, and then I'm talking about the story. So like, so I'm transitioning into like, hey, look, there's a new option, and then I'm talking about a story, and I'm saying, hey, listen, like, um, this is the actual story. Like a Japanese doc, again, I have to do a little bit more research on this, but again, I'm trying to do this quickly so that I can like just move things along as fast as possible. But the backstory is a Japanese doctor started this to stop bleeding in the knee. And what they realized is that it actually helped stop pain. So it was almost like an accident. And it's not new. It's been around for 10 years. Again, it's all factually correct. But because insurance companies are spending a lot of money treating people with arthritis, for the first time in 10 years, they are covering this procedure, and it's a cheaper alternative for them than total knee replacement. It's also longer lasting and less invasive for the patient. So basically, it's a whole new option that should help the patient get better results without doing the things that they don't want to do, right? Again, transition. This part I have to work out. I'm not really sure if this is going to work or not. This is part of what we're going to test together. But I need to tell them what the problem is, show them that there's a new opportunity, and eventually I need to ask them to do something, which is going to be like find a new doctor in your area, or book an appointment. Like book an appointment is probably going to be a hard thing to convince people to do because this is so new. But I need to basically figure out what I'm going to tell them to do next. So I know this can get very technical, and it makes sense to me, but here, let me stop sharing for a second. So again, it can get very technical. It makes sense to me, but if you want, if there's something that doesn't make sense, I will try to simplify this as much as I can, and I'll try to get better at making these videos as this series goes on. But I need your feedback. I need your send a message or send me a comment so that I know what you don't understand or what you want to see more of, and then I can show that in future videos. So this is the first video. Again, the whole point so far is the research stage. Today, which is day 3, I'm gonna start to build out some ads, and I think it'll make more sense when you start to visually see what I'm working on. But like I said, let me know how I can make this video series easier to understand, more entertaining, whatever it is. And yeah, look forward to the next video. Like if you haven't already liked or subscribed to the channel to get the updates, do that. I can't think of anything else, but that's the video for today. I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Take care.